Imagine standing on the edge of the Pacific in the year 1851. Before you lies San Francisco, a city barely recognizable, chaotic in form, and fragile in spirit. What had once been a quiet settlement had become, almost overnight, one of the most dangerous cities in America. Only 3 years earlier, gold had been discovered in California. By 1851, the dream had reached its breaking point. San Francisco's population had exploded from a few hundred residents to more than 25,000. The city had no time to prepare. Streets were muddy. Buildings were thrown together from wood and canvas, and the rule of law lagged far behind the flood of humanity pouring in from every corner of the world. Men arrived by ship, by wagon, and on foot. Merchants, miners, sailors, gamblers, and criminals alike. Many came seeking fortune. Most found only disappointment. The cost of living was staggering. A simple meal could cost a day's wages. A bed for the night was a luxury. Eggs sold for prices once unthinkable. Those who failed in the gold fields often returned to the city broke, desperate, and angry. Crime followed naturally. San Francisco in 1851 had courts, but little justice. Police were few, underpaid, and often corrupt. Jails were insecure. Criminals arrested in the morning could be back on the streets by nightfall. The waterfront and the Barbary Coast became centers of violence. Gambling halls operated without pause. Alcohol flowed freely. Sailors were drugged, robbed, and sometimes kidnapped, a practice known as Shanghaiing. Many men woke up days later on ships already at sea, forced into labor with no hope of return. Murder was common. So were disappearances. And then there was fire. San Francisco was built almost entirely of wood. In 1851 alone, 2 massive fires tore through the city. Flames moved faster than people could run. Entire neighborhoods vanished in hours. Thousands were left homeless, standing among the ashes of what little they owned. Some fires were accidents. Others were deliberate. Insurance fraud became common, as burning a building could be more profitable than keeping it standing. With each disaster, the city rebuilt. Quickly, poorly, and again in wood. The cycle continued. By the summer of 1851, frustration reached a breaking point. Citizens no longer trusted the courts. They believed criminals were protected by bribery and political connections. Law, in their eyes, had failed. And so, the people took justice into their own hands. In June of that year, prominent citizens formed what became known as the Vigilance Committee of 1851. It was not an official body. It had no legal authority, but it had power and public support. Suspected criminals were arrested, tried in secret, and judged swiftly. Some were deported, others were executed. Public hangings were carried out as warnings. Bodies were left visible, meant to restore order through fear. Crowds gathered in silence. Some approved. Others watched with unease. For a time, crime declined. The streets grew quieter, but the moral cost was undeniable. San Francisco had traded law for control, justice for certainty. Meanwhile, the gold itself was disappearing. By 1851, the easiest gold had already been taken. Mining grew harder, more dangerous, and less profitable. Accidents were frequent. Violence over claims was common. Many miners abandoned the fields altogether, returning to San Francisco with nothing. The dream that had built the city was fading, yet people stayed. They stayed because San Francisco, even in chaos, represented possibility. A place where one might begin again. A city not bound by old traditions, but shaped by those who endured it. By the end of 1851, San Francisco stood battered but alive, scarred by fire, marked by violence, defined by contradiction. It was not yet a city of elegance or culture. It was a city of survival. And those who lived through that year would carry its lessons forward, lessons written not in law books, but in ash, fear, and hard-earned resilience. San Francisco would rise again, stronger and more orderly. But it would never forget 1851, the year when the dream of gold gave way to the reality of consequence. Because in that year, the city learned a hard truth. A society without justice cannot endure, and a city without order must decide what it is willing to become.